Daniel Hill 17.1. Anxiety. Anxiety is like a worry or nervousness, like sort of fear of failure, which then makes you just worry about what happened, like how you perform and the outcomes of things that you do. So there are two types of anxiety: state and trait. State's the situation a person's in, so it can be subjective. So if it's like a big match and then people get distressed under those circumstances, this will increase risk of increase anxiety of the player. If it was like if it was trait, then they're born with it, so they could have a pressure for every single game they're playing. Just that nervousness every game, like there's eyes on them and they just feel nervous and anxious for people to watch and play. Just the way they're born with or brought up with. Then some symptoms for it. So cognitive is the self-doubt. So say in basketball there's last minute, then you have some free throws to win the game. So then if you have like that self-doubt in yourself, like you may let your team down when you take free throws. So when you take that self-doubt will cause the anxiety and will then increase the risk of missing the free throws, which then obviously leads to the cycle of no confidence and more self-doubt and more anxiety. Then somatic anxiety is similar to somatic stress. So it's the physical anxiety, so you may get butterflies, you may like butterflies before a shot, or shaky wobbly knees, stuff like that that just affects physically. A physical anxiety, so you can see the anxiety and or feel it. And then behavioural is the actions of the anxiety, so you can see that they're worried because they're fiddling with things or they're pacing up and down, like before a game, just pacing, and that's the behavioural anxiety. Then effects on sports performance. So mental state is if you have a negative mental state, you're more likely to be anxious. And in a positive mindset, you may look on the bright side. So if you say you did have a penalty last minute and you missed, it's like you don't really focus on the negative as much as if you had a negative mindset, because people with a negative mindset will tend to exaggerate things that go bad. So everything that goes bad, they will just focus on the worst thing and just keep focusing on it, and then next time they'll fear failure even more. And it's just the exaggeration of things going wrong that will cause the anxiety to start with. So they feel like, oh, what if I miss? Everyone will hate me, all that, and they just exaggerate everything to a worse extent than what it actually is. And then self-confidence, so like confidence in your abilities. If you don't have confidence in your abilities, you'll be more anxious for playing a game, because you'll feel like, oh, I might mess up, I might not play as well, people might not like me as much from that. So it's all that sort of thing added together. Whereas if you're more confident in your abilities, you won't be as anxious because you feel like you're good, you won't mess up, you feel like you have that belief in your ability that you won't make a mistake and you won't be anxious really. And then expectations. This can work both ways really, depending on the person. So if the expectations are high, Obviously they might be a bit more confident in the games and they might be less anxious for it. However, if they aren't as confident and the expectations are high, they may feel like if they fail, it'll be that much worse because of the expectations, like of you to do well, and then if you don't do well, then it's like so much worse that you failed against someone you should have beaten. You know what I mean? So then that just makes the anxiety of that game even worse because of the standard and the expectations of you to perform. And then fear of failure, that sort of comes under the expectations as well. So the fear of failure, like when you're doing it, the fear of failure makes all of the anxiety much worse than what it is. So when you're overthinking about it all, when you think, oh, might fail this, like if you're taking a penalty and where do I kick the ball? Where's the keeper gonna go? How do I run up? How do I fake it? Then all that overthinking will make you more anxious, and the fear of failure, the fear of people judging you for missing or just not scoring the winning goal, just all of that makes the anxiety much worse. And then if you do, because of the anxiety being worse, then you're more likely to miss. And because you're more likely to miss, then if you do miss, then the confidence of your confidence will be knocked even more. So next time you take a penalty, then your confidence will be worse and your anxiety will be worse, and it's just a cycle of just more anxiety, and just gets worse and worse the more it progresses on.